What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is 90 Day Fiancé season 8 episode 16. So we're winding down. I think next week is the season finale, and then we're gonna have like a where are they now type episode. So we are winding down. So we actually saw a couple of the couples do this week. So let's start with the couples that actually, they made it happen. Rebecca and Zaid. Rebecca said that she was stressed out. It was a lot going on. But she felt a lot better after talking to her best friend and sort of sleeping on things. At the end of the day, she does love him. It's not quite the way she wanted it to happen. It's not quite along the same lines. But she absolutely loves Zaid. And she's absolutely happy to be marrying him. The dress didn't fit, but she made it happen. She put a corset over top of the dress. And if you knew what was happening with the dress, then you knew what it was. But if it was just to the naked eye, it just, it happened. Zaid probably wasted, he has put an extra hole in the ozone layer with all that damn hairspray he was using on his hair. But listen, if he like it, I love it, okay? The resort where they were staying, or resort, I don't know if that's what you want to call it, but they have the horse-drawn carriage. So she came up in the carriage looking like Cinderella. Fortunately, her son couldn't be there because he didn't have anybody he trusted to watch his kids during COVID. um and so her daughter's son-in-law and I think somebody else was there and walked her down the aisle. But the son-in-law and the daughter still got their eye, they side eye on Zaid. But at the end of the day, they did get married. They said their vows and they rode off into the sunset. Um, so they made it happen. And again, I'll see where we are when we get to the Where Are They Now episode, okay? Then we had excuse me. Whew. We had Hazel and Tyrique. Now the main thing with Hazel and Tyrique, Hazel looked beautiful. She had her makeup done, her hair done, honey. Her dress was pretty. She looked beautiful. She really, really did. And she was worried about her family coming on to the Zoom. Her mom not being very open and accepting of her lifestyle, her being bisexual. She was worried. But ultimately, the family did log in. Tyrique was nervous. They had to do a lot on their own because of COVID. That he ended up getting what he wanted. Remember, he wanted to get married at the spiritual center where he goes, and she wanted to get married in a church. But because of COVID, I guess all of their church options were limited. I don't know if they couldn't find a church. I don't know about that one, Tyrique, but whatever. But he got what he wanted. And so he was able to get to get that, and he had a nice little limo, and his daughter looked really nice, and she was the flower girl, and she was there. She was very much a part of the whole ceremony, which I thought was really, really sweet. And they said their vows. He cried, she cried, but they really do love each other. And so again, we'll see where they are in 2 weeks, but they did get married. Then we had oh, what's my boy's name, Natalie and oh shoot, Natalie and y'all know what I'm talking about, the farm down in Virginia. So not Bryan. Bryan don't sound right. Anyway, Natalie and them. So she was really, really nervous about everything. Again, he was worried about he said, listen, we've had some things that gone down. We've had some arguments, and some things haven't been moving too smooth. And so I'm a little bit worried about everything going on with the wedding. But, ultimately, because of COVID and paperwork, I just don't want to get caught up in the matrix and things go wrong. So we're going to make it happen. And of course, Natalie is worried because it ain't what she wanted. She wanted a church wedding. She wanted an actual wedding. And so it's not nobody's getting what they wanted because of COVID. Let's be clear. And throughout the episode, you could see where the people were filming themselves, and that production pretty much just gave them phones and was like, "Here, we'll figure out the footage later." Like it was hilarious to see it. But they did end up getting married, and she looked nice. You know, she was worried about her hair and her makeup and everything. She, of course, didn't get the dress that she absolutely wanted, but everything worked out. You know, everything did work out. So they got married. So that's 3 couples down, okay? All right. Now, there were 2 couples on this episode that didn't finish up the deal yet. We still don't know what's going to happen with them. We got some cliffhangers going on, right? So we have Zaid and Yara in Vegas. She's in a better mood. They're getting along better. You know, she said after we talked, he ordered room service in. We had a romantic evening in the room. Everything was everything. I'm happy. He's happy. We happy together. Okay, cool. We see her gambling with his friends. They're teaching her how to play 21, you know, blackjack. And so it was cool. So then they left to go get the rings, and his parents had just gotten in, and his mom went with them to go get the ring. What is wrong with Jovi? Jovi was really sitting there acting like the ring she picked out was like $1,300, which for Yara, sir, do you realize how much of a steal that is for Yara? Like, Yara seems like the kind of person that, even without looking at the price tag, would have found the $10,000 ring. The fact that she picked up 2 or 3 rings, and the most expensive ring that at least that they showed us, was a $1,300 ring. Sir, you should have ran that credit card and got the hell out of Dodge before she changed her mind. Now, to his credit, he was like, well, I just spent a whole lot of money on an engagement, you know, on an engagement ring. I just don't understand why I got to turn around and spend a whole lot of money on a damn wedding ring. Because that's what it is. That's what we do. That's called a marriage. And even his mother was like, Jovi, you can't do this. Like, the ring is important. It's eternal. It says something. It's a message that you're sending. Like, why are you being so, like, I don't even think it's the fact that he didn't have the money. I think you just think he didn't feel like they needed to spend that kind of money on the ring. I don't think it's because he didn't have it. I mean, I ain't trying to spend nobody else's money, but I don't think that was the issue. But when his own mama was like, Jovi, you come on. But he ended up, you know, getting her the ring that she wanted. You know, he didn't make a big deal about it, even though you could tell he wasn't really feeling it. And when it got around to his ring, he picked up the first thing they showed him. It was like, all right, let's go. He was like, look, it even fits. I don't even have to get a size. Let's go. I mean, he put absolutely no thought, no effort into it. He didn't even ask Yara if she liked it or is that the ring that she wanted to buy for him. Well, I guess she wouldn't buy it. But, I mean, it was just nothing. He was like, all right, let's go. So then they go to the spot to get the tux. And it was the same attitude. It was, all right, well, my mom told me to make sure I get a tux that has this color in it. So let's find it. Let's get out. Oh, okay, cool. You going to deliver it? Oh, and they're going to pick it up? Oh, okay, cool. So go get my measurements? All right, fine. Boom. All right, we done. And so, you know, his dad and his best friend were like, Jovi, are you sure about this? And he was like, why does everybody keep asking me if I'm sure? And they're like, maybe because you acting like you don't give a damn. The father and the best friend did have a conversation about Yara being a little moody. You know, and he said, but I guess maybe, you know, it's just everything going on and she's just a little stressed out. And of course, the dad knows that Yara's pregnant. But the best friend, at least, you know, he didn't know, but he knew, I'm sure. But then we start seeing Jovi saying, well, I mean, maybe, should I? Are we really going to do this? We did sort of rush into this. So they kind of left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger, but it ain't really much of a cliffhanger. If you follow social media, it ain't much of a cliffhanger. But I ain't gonna ruin it for y'all if y'all don't follow social media, but we'll find out next week. Anyway, then we have Mike and Natalie. Child, I'm so sick of Mike and Natalie. Okay, so Natalie get all the way to Washington and get to the hotel in Washington and find out that even though he reserved the room over the phone, used the credit card, and I guess he paid for it, they weren't going to let them check in because the owner of the credit card wasn't with them. So they turn around and have to drive all the way back. And, of course, Natalie is just upset. And I'm sorry, I called that other girl Natalie. It was Julia. Julia is the one on the farm in Virginia. I'm sorry. Natalie, of course, is stressed out and upset, which I don't blame her. I mean, the man done called off the wedding. You was already stressed out all day, crying all day, not even knowing how you going to get back in the country. Once you get to France, you don't even know how you going to get home. Don't have no money. Like, listen, at that point, she was probably exhausted and spent, okay? Now, when they got to the house, Mike asked the cameras to stop recording, so we didn't see nothing until the next day. So the next day they talk, and he explains to her, he said, listen, I'm not saying I don't love you and I don't want to marry you. I'm saying that right now, there's way, way, way too much going on. And it's just a lot, and it's just, I'm stressed out, and I just haven't figured it all out yet. And you move your stuff so fast. Like, I love you, but it's just going too fast for me. It's just going too fast. And so Natalie was like, okay, but we got to figure this out, because we got 4 days left, and either I gotta go home or we gotta get married. Like, our options have pretty much been dwindled into that. And so he says, how about tomorrow we'll call a lawyer and we'll find out what our options are. I don't want you to go home. I'm just not ready to get married. So anyway, so the next day they called a lawyer, and so she tells him that she forgives him, whatever. So the next day they called a lawyer, and the lawyer tells him, the lawyer was like, listen, y'all done cut this down to the bone. She said, I would feel a lot better if y'all had put the paperwork in already, but the fact that y'all waited, like, literally she had like less than 3 days at this point. She said the fact that y'all waited so long, she said, because of COVID, we're not getting a lot of directives. We don't know. Like, yes, it makes sense that if she's here and the borders to her country are closed, yes, it makes sense that there wouldn't be a lot of options. But the reality of the situation is, we don't know. And I don't want to tell you it'll be okay and it's okay for her to stay even after her visa expires. I don't want to tell you that, because I don't know if that's what the decision is going to be. Yes, everything you're saying makes sense. We get it. She can't get back into her country. We get all of that. But I just don't want to be the one to tell you, and then she gets stuck here, and then I'm the bad guy or whatever. And she says, basically, at this point, you got a choice. Either y'all need to get married, or you gotta go home. And so Natalie was like, Natalie was like, that's what I've been trying to tell him. Like, but we have other issues. And, she starts asking, the attorney about, well, Mike changed his mind at the last minute, and Mike this and Mike that. And she was like, listen, that is y'all's personal issue. I can only advise you on the legal side of this. That is personal. I don't have nothing to do with that. That's, y'all need to figure that out on y'all's end. And ultimately, Mike still doesn't know. Like, it is literally the last day, and Mike still ain't made up his mind about what it is that he wants to do. I understand where Mike is coming from, but at the end of the day, this is what you signed up for. You knew you had 90 days, and I get it that y'all had already come up with that y'all had already sort of broken up, and then the visa came through. You had spent all that money. You did still have feelings for her, but you're hurt. And sometimes it takes longer than 3 months to get over a hurt. And that's really what we boil down to. Y'all. And I really think, because of what's happening between Mike and Natalie, what you guys are doing, and when I say you guys, I mean the government, in this situation, as unique as COVID was, what the government did was basically force them to marry and go against the whole idea of what it is that y'all want. Because ultimately, if there had been a system in place to say, listen, the borders are closed, we know you can't get back home, so you just got to stay here and ride out the pandemic, and as soon as the pandemic is over, or as soon as the borders open, then we expect you to get on a plane, then you would have given them more time to figure this out. But the fact that y'all are making it, you basically are forcing them to get married under false pretenses, because Mike ain't ready for this. He's not ready to get married. But now it's almost like he has to, because in good conscience, he really in good conscience can't put that woman on a plane and not know whether she's going to be able to get home. I mean, literally, she was like, I'll be in Paris and won't know nothing next. She don't have nowhere to stay. She don't have no money. The borders to her country are closed. She doesn't know if she can get a plane, train, automobile into the country. Like, she has no idea. And in good conscience, he can't really put her on no plane, y'all. I mean, for as crazy as I think Natalie could be sometime, I understand So anyway, we'll see what ends up happening next week, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all doing. Talk to y'all later. Peace.